Hello, my name is Ben and welcome. The most discussed topic at the moment is the 500 kilo deadlift. Everyone is going crazy about it. And although I'm not going to be discussing the controversy around it, we're going to be looking at whether or not it will actually be possible and whether Hafthor Bjornsson is capable of pulling this 500 based on his recent practice and his previous history of deadlift. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's a little background. So the world record is currently held at 500 kilos by Eddie Hall, and it is seen as one of the greatest, if not the actual greatest strength feat in history. So to break this would be absolutely phenomenal and would have the world on the edge of their seats. And the person who's trying to do it is 6'9", 200 kilograms in body weight, Hafthor Bjornsson, the strongman. We're going to look over a couple of clips of Hafthor deadlifting to see his previous, because he has already attempted 500 kilograms before, so his previous build up and 500 kilo pull, and see how his preparation this time round is different and the speed of his pulls. So for anyone who doesn't know, Hafthor Bjornsson attempted 500 kilos on the elephant bar last year at the Arnold Strongman Classic. This was without a suit on a long heavy bar known as the elephant bar. Now in his preparation for this pull, he deadlifted 453 kilograms for 2 reps. And if we look at that footage, we can see he clearly has a weakness around the knees. So as soon as he gets to the knees, his deadlift dramatically slows down. So even on that first rep, although he pulled it for 2 reps, which is very strong, 453 kilos, even the first rep slowed down a lot at the knees. So if Hafthor Bjornsson is going to fail a deadlift, you can almost guarantee that that is the point where he is going to fail. Not the bottom, not the top, but the middle of the lift. Again, we look at his 480 kilogram deadlift. He is strong off the floor, and that is undeniable. You can see it. The bar, he takes the flex out of the bar and he pulls it off the floor with good speed. But then when it gets to the knees, it slows down and then he manages to pull it through. And that 480 did look like a struggle, did look near his limit, but he wasn't wearing a deadlift suit. That's no gear, no support. And on the actual 500 kilo attempt, Hafthor himself said the reason he missed that lift was because his foot slipped on the floor. He was only wearing socks and not shoes, and that's why his foot slipped and he was unable to lock it out. However, I think that's a little bit of a misunderstanding, because I think it was the fact that he got to his sticking point, wasn't able to pull through, and his foot then moved to try and compensate. I think it is what it is. We'll never really know whether it was a slip or the sticking point just got too much. But anyway, you can see with that 500 kilo attempt, off the floor, it actually looked pretty darn quick. So if he is strong or stronger than he was when he did that Arnold Classic 500, he will undoubtedly get this 500 off the floor and fast. Now, this time around, how has he been looking in comparison? Well, he's put on the suit, which is you're allowed to do for this attempt. You're allowed a suit and you're allowed figure of 8 straps. This is going to give him an advantage because obviously when you prepare with a suit, you can get a bit more out of it. A lot of people say a suit helps off the bottom of the deadlift the most. So if he's already quick at pulling 500 off the floor without a suit, with a suit he'll be pulling it even quicker, and that gives him a much greater chance of being able to go through that sticking point just by having enough speed and momentum to get him through. So the first couple of training lifts he did in preparation for this 500 kilo attempt. He did a 440 kilogram deadlift for 3 reps. And if we look at those 3 reps, they look very evenly paced. You cannot see that sticking point at the knees for any of the reps. So all 3 reps looked consistent and looked consistent throughout the lift. Now that is a very good sign, because as we saw with the 453, even on the first rep, he was slowing down quite a lot of the knees. So take away 13 kilos, add another rep, but completely get rid of the slowing down at the knees. That is signs of a big improvement at that stage of his prep. So he's got big improvement at that stage of his preparation. Then the next lift he did was a 470 kilogram deadlift for a single. So this will be comparable to his previous 480 kilogram on the deadlift bar. Now that 480 was slow. It got to the knees and it slowed down massively, and he muscled it up to lockout. Compared to this 470, again, very, very minimal signs of slowing down at that weak point. So this is incredibly good signs, because Hafthor, we've seen it from his past that the knees is where he's going to fail it. I can say that with absolute confidence, that if he fails this lift, it is going to be at the knees. So the fact that the 470 he did this time was quick, super quick, barely slowed down at the knees, he has got a lot more there. And I really think that if we compared his 470 kilo with his 453 for a double, you'd see that the 470 was quicker than his first rep of the 453. Now that cycle, he pulled 480, so that's about 30 kilograms more. If he's pulling 470 and he's able to get 30 kilograms more, you've guessed it, he's at 500. Assuming that his peak has been good and he's made the right decisions to take enough rest and what have you, he is ready for a 500 kilo pull. I personally would have him down for between 500 and 510. Somewhere in that range would be my estimation of his limit. I've heard talks of 520, but in all honesty, 20 kilograms more is a hell of a lot. To pull 520, you would have to pull 500 kilos with almost complete ease. Like no signs of a true sticking point. You'd have to make that look like a warm-up lift. And if he does that, then fine, I'll be saying go for the 520, break this world record by a lot. But if I'm being 100% realistic, 510 is probably the max I'd have him at. But for this 500 attempt, well, it's 501, so it's not quite, it's a tiny bit over 500, a smidge. I have him good, personally. I see, just based on this preparation, with everything that's happened and his previous deadlifts, I'd have to say that Hafthor Bjornsson has a very, very good chance of deadlifting 501 kilograms. And to see how easy he's going to do it is going to be real exciting, because this is going to be the biggest lift in history, remember. No one has ever lifted more than this. So if you're not excited, get excited. And we'll see how fast this 500 goes up, because I have him down as doing it. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and see you later.